And of course, we are back from your election headquarters here on Joy News. Let's talk about business and the challenges that businesses are facing in the country, because the Ghana Chamber of Commerce is warning more foreign businesses will stop operating in the country unless government fixes concerns of industry and the business community. And notable brands such as Glovo, Nivea, Jumia Foods, Unilever, Ghana's Lipton Tea, Duck and Lovely, Bet365 Game, and BIC have all decided to exit the Ghanaian market, sparking concerns about the possible effect on job creation and the broader economic growth issues. Now, Director with Dayless Finance, Ken Thompson, is blaming government for creating a hostile business environment in the country.
For me, it's very simple. The government of Ghana doesn't care about the private sector. The government doesn't care about creating jobs. The government is not interested. It's only interested in government and the people that benefit from the largest. The government of Ghana does not listen. Every time we complain, they reel out projects that have been done. We build this block. We build this garden. We build this fountain. Who cares? We're in a situation where we're living day to day. We cannot plan. We don't know where we invest. Our hard-earned savings are gone. And, nobody's listening. The government does not care. All the government cares about is spending more and more money on itself. So, what's the consequence? Interest rates are high. You can't do business. The population is poor, so they can't spend. Infrastructure, critical infrastructure is weak. Water, electricity, roads is weak. And when you can find it, it's expensive. If you start a business last year, 100,000, that 100,000 now is worth probably 30,000. Who does business like this?
Well, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce, Mark Edu-Abuaje, is warning more businesses, local and foreign, will fold up unless government fix the concerns of the business community. Now, he joins me with more. Mr. Edu-Abuaje, it's a pleasure to have you here on the post. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
So, the countdown, and you have this, international brands, Glovo, Jumia, Nestle, Unilever, they've taken the Lipton Tea out of Ghana. We have some others that are also having issues with the business climate in the country. For that reason, they think that maybe the returns is not doing them good and they want to relocate. But basically, it's about whether the environment in the country is conducive enough for businesses to grow. You are in the sector. What do you make of what is happening?
Well, I think for us, we are not surprised some of these international companies are exiting. In fact, we expressed this concern about a year or two ago that we continue to create an environment that is hostile, environment that is not conducive for businesses. The obvious option is that businesses will collapse. And for instance, those international companies, they have options. So they will exit and go to where they think that the environment is conducive. And that is what we are seeing now. Nobody set up a business, especially those foreign companies, just for the fact that they want to come to Ghana or their Father Christmas. They set up business to make profits because people have invested in the businesses and they have to create value for their shareholders. So they are looking for profit. So if you're an environment where your cost of operation is very high, you don't even make enough money to be able to take care of your operational cost and also to be able to defray part of your fixed cost, then it doesn't make economic sense to be in that environment. And there are other countries that are doing well in terms of creating the right environment for businesses. So they will exit and go to where they are accepted, where the environment is good, where they have a very low interest rate. Our interest rates in Ghana at the moment is among the highest in the whole world. Moving around 45%. So if you are working in an environment like that and you need money to expand, you cannot get it. So you go to where you can get the money. The cost of utilities is also very high. Check electricity, for instance, check water. We have had consistent increase in electricity and water, and they all fit into the cost of doing business. The CD has been depreciating. Is very vulnerable to just the slightest shock, and you see the CD depreciating. From the beginning of the year to as at today, the cedi has depreciated close to about 15%, which means that you have lost 15% of the money of your cedi if you want to convert into dollar. And for these businesses, they invest in dollars. So when they are exiting or when they want to pay money to their shareholders, they have to pay in dollars. So they will convert the cedi into dollars. It means now they need more cedis to be able to get the dollar that they invested earlier. And of course, revenue is not coming in because people are not able to buy the goods that they are producing because of high inflation. The purchasing power had gone down. So it's a very complicated environment. And for any rational business, they are looking for areas where they will make profit. So they will exit. The challenge is for local businesses with no option to leave.
I was just going to come to that about if the foreign companies are leaving. It should be an advantage to the local entrepreneur to take advantage of their absence and then scale up production or fill in the gap. But before I ask you that, I mean, the issues that you enumerated, is it a reflection of the economy or bad government policies that clearly is fueling this, exits of these companies?
So the policies reflect in how the economy perform in terms of the macroeconomic environment. So for instance, if you take a tax policy, which is from basically the fiscal sector, the Ministry of Finance, we have a lot of taxes and we have complained over the years. We keep on seeing new taxes virtually day in, day out. So it's governance issue, it's also a policy issue. Whenever you are introducing a tax, you should know that the incidence of tax will be on somebody. That somebody is the business that is already not doing well, by imposing numerous tax on that business. So that business cannot survive. So the policies come together to create that environment. In fact, the role of government is to create a conducive environment for businesses, and government can only do that through policies and programs. So the policies and programs that are bringing out is what is affecting the macroeconomic environment. The depreciation surely is also one of the factors. If you borrow more than you can pay for, the value of your cedi or the value of your currency will go down, and that's what we experienced. So that's why they went into the DDEP to ensure that we restructure our debts, both local and international, to be able to pay. Now we are looking at how the bilateral creditors will also come in, and also the private people that we have borrowed from.
Right.
So people are also living because the environment is hostile. They are living and they invested in dollars. Once they are living, they have to convert the cedi into dollars. So you put pressure on the dollar. So the demand goes up, and of course the cedi will depreciate. So it's just government policy that is not really helping. And obviously, for instance, the borrowing is not from this current government. We have said this for the past 10 years. They keep on accumulating until such a time that it's difficult for us to pay. And your cedi will definitely give way.
So I ask, I mean, if for example, Glovo has signaled its intention to leave the country, and there is a local company, a rival local company, that should be good news for the rival local company, isn't it?
No, it's not, because the reasons the Glovo and the Jumia cited for leaving is the same business environment that these local and domestic businesses are operating. They are not operating from a different environment. Interest rates are high, taxes are still there, utilities and all those things. I was giving a typical example. About 4 or 5 years ago, you could see these courier companies crisscrossing Accra, delivering goods here and there. Now go to the market or go out and you hardly see them. Most of them have collapsed because at that time, 4 years ago, a simple bike, was costing 3,000. Now it's 20,000 Ghana cedi because of depreciation. More than 5 times the cost. Fuel prices are going up. So these businesses, their margins are very small. So anything that will increase their cost of operation or reduces their revenue will create a case where they will run at loss. So most of them are running at a loss. And of course, their business model operates in such a way that they deliver goods, they deliver food. So they can only do that when somebody has purchased the food or has purchased the goods and you have to deliver. People are not buying the food because of these taxes. People are not buying the goods because of these taxes. So they don't virtually have anything to do if people are not buying. But if you have an environment that people have money in their pocket, their purchasing power is very high, as we had 5 years ago, and people are buying, then these courier companies, Jumia and all those people, will be distributing the goods as freely as possible, and they'll be making their money. So such hostile environment, those with small margins are the ones that will fall off. They are the ones that will collapse. The foreign ones are gone. The local ones, most of them have collapsed. And I have said that if you don't put in place all the pragmatic measures as soon as possible, even those who are operating will also go off. They will collapse. And other businesses who have also have any link with this kind of businesses will also collapse. If you are producing or you are preparing food, people cannot buy, distributors cannot distribute. Of course, that restaurant will also not survive. So we are in a very serious situation. What that we are asking for is that there's opportunity for us to improve the environment. There's opportunity for us to reevaluate the taxes that we have introduced and see its impact. Is it really helping businesses? Is there any way we can do to bring some relief to businesses, to motivate private sector operators, even motivate the domestic operators that now that Jumia and Glovo are not there, what are we doing for these domestic businesses to be able to take advantage of their absence, to do business, expand, and also create more employment? Those who were working with Jumia and those working with Glovo, most of them, by now, they are in the house. What they can do is just get a bike that probably they were using and doing Okada. How sustainable is that business? Those small courier companies, some of them were employing as many as 30 people. I have evidence of that.
Right.
I went to the shop and they have totally collapsed. So it's the same environment that these foreign companies are operating, that they have decided to leave because it's not good for them. It's the same environment that the domestic businesses are also operating. So we have to change the model. We have to help them create the right environment, and I'm sure that the private sector will take advantage of that.
Yeah, my final question as we wrap up on this conversation, and I mean, we're having this same conversation, that the economic condition in the country does not only affect the business, it affects the ordinary Ghanaian. I was having this conversation with a colleague of mine this afternoon, where he told me that around 2010, he had started work, he was earning around 1,000 Ghana cedi. The cedi to the dollar was 2 cedis. So the 1,000 Ghana cedi was gave him $500. Now $500 is 7,000 Ghana cedis. So for somebody who is still earning 1,000 cedis, his situation is getting, he's getting poorer and poorer by the day. In brief, what would be your solution that you think government should implement immediately? Because if this is not an next year or so, I wonder how many businesses will still be surviving.
Yes, obviously, the example that you give, there are a lot of Ghanaians that are going through. Now, if you need $1,000, you need over 14,000 Ghana cedis to be able to get just $1,000. Yes. Can you imagine that? So, all the things that we have said is to also work with government to create the right environment. I have given you a number of things that we can do. In fact, in the other countries that are doing well, they listen to what the businesses are saying. They evaluate the impact of these policies and see whether they are good. It looks as if our people are not listening to us. It's like when we ask that they create the right environment, it's like they are doing businesses a favor by creating the right environment. That's not to say that is not the right thing. For me, we have gone to IMF hoping that it would have resolved a lot of issues. I still think that we still have a long way to go. Government should cut down its expenditure. They should look at how they can reduce these taxes, how they can create the right environment. Utility tariffs must go down. The water tariffs are going up. All these things complicate the issue. So we have made a number of proposals to government. We are waiting that one day they will call us to also have a discussion on how we can work together to create the environment. And otherwise, as we said, within a year, if we should continue this way, inflation that we have said it had gone down, at the moment is 25%,
right,
which is way above the government, the Bank of Ghana's target of 8% plus or minus 2. So let's take the maximum of 8 plus, which is 10. Our inflation now is about 25%, 15% higher. And I'm sure that within May, June, we are going to have an increase in inflation. That will further reduce the purchasing power of a typical Ghanaian. So we are getting worse, we are getting poorer by the day by some of these policies. Right. And I think that government can work on it. Government can listen to the private sector. Some of the taxes, for instance, COVID tax, for instance, we have said several times that that particular tax has outlived its usefulness. I don't know of any country that imposed a COVID tax because there was COVID. COVID is well gone over 3 or 4 years. We still have COVID tax. We have said they should remove it. Now, if you remove COVID tax, it means that those taxes that are paying, those that are paying when they go to the restaurant, now they will not be paying it, so they'll be having the money. If you go to the port, there's COVID tax. Those who are importing will not impose COVID tax on us. Those COVID tax can be taken out of the system. The growth and sustainability levy tax that we spoke about, these are levies that are supposed to be for a short term. If you have any difficult situation, you impose it. It started from the first time, and then they said they are going to do it for 2 years. Now we have been changing the color of this and giving it different names. It's been there for over 22 years.
Right. And
now we are giving it a different name. And these are taxes that are affecting businesses. Why don't we take those taxes out and ensure that the businesses are also given the room to operate? In fact, if businesses are making profit, they will rather pay more tax than this post-production tax that we are imposing.
Okay.
These are post-production taxes.
Sure.
And they just increase the cost of production and then reduce the productivity of business. Let's look at post-production taxes that they have produced and they are making profit and they are paying higher taxes. And the people that businesses are laying off, these people will also be given revenue, their salaries, they will also pay taxes. So the government will rather get more taxes, but rather empowering the private sector to produce more, make money, and pay the taxes.
Right. Mr. Makadu Abuaje is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce. Now, the Deputy Trade and Industry Minister, Michael Ochebefi, told us that they had a meeting with the business community operating in the country. They understand their concerns and they've put in place measures to address them. And he says the government is not happy with what is going on in the business environment and is working around the clock to ensure that they reverse whatever challenges that exist in the business community, with the aim that Ghana will continue to maintain its position as the #1 preferred investment destination, especially here in West Africa. Thank you very much, Mr. Mr. Mark Abuaje, for your time this afternoon. Now, are you tired of the same old political rhetoric? Do you believe it is time for a change that truly represents the voices of our youth, women, and children? Introducing Nana Kwame Bediako, the presidential aspirant who is not just promising change, but actively working to make it happen. Nana Bediako is not your typical politician. He's a visionary leader with a passion for making our country better through innovative industrial revolution. Together, we can change the political narrative and create a government that truly represents the interests of all citizens. Join Nana on this journey to build a better and inclusive future for all by contributing to the Save Ghana Fund campaign. Your support, no matter the amount, is not just a donation, it is an investment in the shared desire for a more prosperous, equitable, and better nation. You can visit www.nkb.com.gh or you can dial *887 *2024# to donate. And of course, this is a sponsored announcement. This is the pause. We take a short break. When we return, we have more, including the remembrance of the 126 soccer fans that died 23 years ago at Accra Sports Stadium. We shall be back.